Close your eyes and just breathe. Do you hear that? The silence between my words. That is where the truth lies. We are about to step across a threshold away from the world of logic and into the velvet shadows of the feminine psyche. You think you know her. You think you've mapped the boundaries of her desire. But beneath the surface, deeper than the everyday smiles and the comfortable routines, there are fires burning that she has never dared to describe to you. She has secrets. It isn't that she's hiding them out of fear of you. It's that she's hiding them to protect the intensity of the flame. These are fantasies so raw, so primal, that to speak them aloud feels like breaking a spell. But tonight, the spell is already broken. Tonight, I'm going to be the voice for the things she cannot say. The first secret is the craving for absolute surrender. In her daily life, she is the one in control. She manages the world. She makes the choices. She holds the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. But in the dark, she dreams of the moment that weight is stripped away. She doesn't want to be asked. She doesn't want to negotiate. She wants to be claimed. She fantasizes about a man whose will is an immovable object. She wants to feel the heat of your hand on the back of her neck, a firm, silent command that tells her she no longer has to think. There is a terrifying, beautiful ecstasy in being mastered by someone she trusts. It's the capitulation. When you take the lead with an unshakable certainty, you aren't just taking her body, you are liberating her soul from the burden of choice. She wants to be your object of obsession. She wants to feel small in your arms, yet expanded by your power. But as we move deeper, we find a second hunger, the fantasy of the silent witness. Have you ever caught her looking at herself in the mirror when she thinks you aren't there? There is a hidden exhibitionist blooming inside her. She dreams of being watched, not just looked at, but consumed by your gaze while she is in her most private, vulnerable states. The thrill is in the observation. She imagines the door being slightly ajar. The sound of your breath in the hallway as you watch her move, unaware. She wants to feel the electricity of your eyes on her skin like a physical touch. To her, being watched is the ultimate validation of her power. It's the knowledge that she is so captivating, you cannot look away even if you tried. She will never tell you this because she's been taught to be modest. But in her mind, she is center stage, and you are the only audience that matters. Let us linger here. In the doorway of that third chamber, the fantasy of the total stranger, think about the architecture of a routine. Every day you wake up, you speak the same words, you share the same space. It is comfortable, it is safe, but safety can be a gilded cage for desire. She imagines a world where the history between you is erased for just one night. Imagine her standing in a crowded, dimly lit room. The scent of rain and expensive gin hangs heavy in the air. She isn't your wife. She isn't your girlfriend. She's a woman waiting for a spark. And you aren't the man who forgot to take out the trash or the man who knows her favorite coffee order. You are a predator in a tailored suit. You catch her eye from across the distance. There is no hello, there is no small talk, there is only the magnetic pull of two people who recognize a shared hunger. She wants to feel that jolt of electricity when your hand brushes against her dental at the bar. She wants to feel the predatory weight of your gaze tracking her every move, making her feel hunted, making her feel wanted in a way that transcends the domestic. She wants to be followed into a quiet corner. She wants to feel the cold press of a stone wall against her back and the sudden, shocking heat of your body pinning her there. In this fantasy, she doesn't have to be good. She doesn't have to be responsible because a stranger doesn't expect those things. A stranger only expects this. Now let the scene shift. Let us return to the observed. Imagine her in the sanctuary of your home, but the air feels different tonight. She is in the bathroom, the steam from the shower curling around her like a white silk ribbon. She thinks she is alone. She moves with a slow, unhurried grace, her hands tracing the lines of her own body as she applies oil to her skin. Then she sees it, the reflection of the door behind her, cracked open just an inch, and there in the sliver of darkness, she sees your eye, her heart hammers against her ribs, not with fear, but with a terrifying, delicious rush of adrenaline. She knows you are watching. She knows she is being consumed. Instead of covering up, she moves slower. She lets the robe slip just a little further. She wants to see how long you can hold your breath. She wants to see the moment your composure breaks and you have to step into the room to claim what you've been witnessing. This is the power of the gaze. It is the ultimate aphrodisiac for the woman who feels overlooked by the world. To be the sole focus of a man's silent, intense observation is to be worshipped. She wants to feel like her body is a temple and your eyes are the only prayer that matters. But there is a darker layer to the capitulation fantasy that we haven't touched yet. It's not just about taking the lead, it's about the denial of her voice. Hush, sometimes she wants to be silenced, not out of malice, but out of a desperate need to let her body speak for her. She dreams of the moment you place a hand over her mouth softly, but with a strength that cannot be argued with, and tell her to just feel. She wants to be relieved of the need to explain, to consent verbally to every tiny movement, to negotiate the terms of her pleasure. She wants to be swept away by a tide of your making. She wants to feel the struggle between her own lingering control and your overwhelming presence. And she wants to lose to you. Think about the way she arches her back when you grip her hair. That isn't pain. That is a biological signal. It is the primitive brain recognizing a master. It is the biological echo. For thousands of years, desire was tied to the chase, to the capture, to the overwhelming force of nature. Even in our modern, polished world, those ancient echoes still vibrate in her marrow. She wants to be the prize that was fought for. She wants to feel the raw, unrefined masculinity that refuses to take no for an answer when the heart is already saying yes. Now we go deeper, past the physical acts, past the visual thrills, into the fourth chamber, the one she guards with the most ferocity. This is the fantasy of the emotional breakdown. She wants to see you shatter. You spend your day being the rock. You are the provider, the protector, the man with the plan and the steady hand. But in her most secret heart, she fantasizes about the moment her touch, her scent, or her sheer presence makes you lose your grip on your own sanity. She wants to see your hands tremble when you reach for her. She wants to hear the way your breath hitches, that sharp, jagged intake of air when she moves a certain way. To her, your loss of control is the ultimate tribute. She wants to be the drug that makes a sober man stumble. Imagine her sitting across from you, the light catching the curve of her neck, and she sees that look in your eyes, the one where you aren't thinking about the bills or the work or the world outside. You are looking at her like a starving man looks at bread. It's the power of the break. She dreams of the moment you stop being polite, the moment you push everything off the desk, or pull the car over, or stop mid-sentence, because the need to have her right then, right there, has become a physical ache you can no longer ignore. She wants to feel your heart racing against her back, not with a steady rhythm, but with a frantic, desperate beat that says, I need you so much it hurts. She will never share this because she values your strength. She doesn't want to think she's making you weak, but she doesn't realize that to a woman, a man's vulnerability to her is his greatest strength. It is the proof that she is unique, that she is the only one who holds the key to your hidden fire. But let's return to the forbidden, because there is a sub-layer there we haven't explored, the fantasy of the rivalry. She thinks about the tension of the unattainable, the idea of being with a man she shouldn't have, not because she wants to betray you, but because she wants to feel the heat of a passion that burns through the rules of society. She imagines being cornered in a place where you could be caught at any second, the elevator, the library, the family dinner under the table. The danger of the discovery adds a layer of ice to the fire. Every muscle in her body is coiled, waiting, listening for a footstep, a voice, a turning doorknob. Or that tension makes every touch feel 1,000 times more sensitive. The pressure of your thumb against her lip feels like a bolt of lightning because it is clandestine. It is a secret world built for two, existing right in the middle of a crowded room. She wants you to be the architect of that danger. She wants you to be the one who whispers in her ear, telling her exactly what you're going to do to her while she's trying to maintain a straight face in front of others. That is a mental mastery that she finds utterly intoxicating. And then there is the echo of the past. Sometimes her mind wanders to the what ifs, not out of regret, but out of a biological curiosity for the primitive. She fantasizes about the caveman approach, a world without words, without modern etiquette, where the only language is the language of the body. She wants to be picked up, carried, and placed exactly where you want her. No questions, no negotiations, only the raw, heavy weight of masculine intent. She wants to feel the texture of your skin, the roughness of your stubble, the scent of your sweat. And she wants to feel like she is being reclaimed by something ancient, something that existed long before we had houses and cars and social media. She wants to be the woman in the wilderness, and you're the man who found her. Do you feel the weight of these secrets? They are heavy, they are hot, and they are waiting for a man brave enough to invite them out of the shadows. Now, we step into the sensory depths, because for a woman, a fantasy is never just an image. It is a symphony of textures, scents, and the weight of the air itself. Let's talk about the language of the skin. In the privacy of her mind, she isn't just thinking about the act. She is thinking about the anticipation of the touch. She fantasizes about the moment before your hand actually makes contact. That millimeter of space where the heat of your palm radiates against her thigh, raising the fine hairs on her arms before you even arrive. She wants to feel the contrast. The contrast between your strength and her softness. She dreams of the way your rough, Colal's thumb feels when it traces the ultra-sensitive skin of her inner wrist, or the way the silk of her dress feels when it's being crushed in your fist. These are the details she won't tell you. She wants to feel the brute and the beauty. She wants to feel like a delicate glass sculpture in the hands of a man who has the power to break it, but the control to worship it instead. Listen closely. There is a specific scent to desire that she seeks, not the scent of cologne or soap, but the raw, earthy scent of you. She dreams of being pulled into the crook of your neck, inhaling the musk of your skin when you've been working, when you're tired, when you're primal. To her, that scent is a biological anchor. It tells her nervous system that she is safe to be dangerous. It tells her that the man is here and the world can wait. Now, imagine the soundscape. In her hidden fantasy, silence is the loudest sound of all. She dreams of the quiet that falls over a room when you enter and look at her, a silence so heavy feels like a physical pressure on her chest. But then there are the sounds she craves to hear from you, the low, guttural growl in the back of your throat when she moves in a way that pleases you, the way you say her name, not with a question, but as a statement of ownership, her name in your voice like a prayer. She will never share this because she thinks it makes her sound obsessed. But she is obsessed. She is obsessed with the effect she has on you. Think back to the exhibitionist spark we discussed. There is a variation of this where she isn't the one being watched, but she is the one watching you. She fantasizes about seeing you in your element, commanding a room, fixing something with your hands, being the alpha in the world, and knowing that at the end of the day, you belong to her. The fantasy is the secret knowledge. She looks at you while you're talking to someone else and she thinks they have no idea what he does to me. They have no idea how he looks when I'm the only one in the room. The secret is the power. And then there is the fantasy of the lingering mark. It's not just about the night, it's about the day after. She fantasizes about the hidden reminder of your passion, the faint purple ghost of a mark on her shoulder hidden under her blouse, the slight ache in her muscles that reminds her of how you held her. She wants to carry your presence with her into her boring meetings, into the grocery store, into the mundane world. She wants to feel like she's walking around with a secret fire tucked under her skin, a fire that you lit and only you can extinguish. She keeps this from you because she doesn't want to seem possessive, but she wants to be marked, not by a brand, but by an experience so intense it changes the way she walks the next day. She wants to feel the echo of the encounter vibrating in her body for hours after you've left the room. Are you starting to see her mind is a labyrinth of these sensations? Every look, every touch, every word is a thread she weaves into a tapestry of longing that most men will never see. But you're not most men anymore. You have the map. The sun is setting on our journey into the shadows for now. You've seen the four chambers. You've heard the whispers of the capitulation, the observer, the stranger, and the emotional breakdown. You now hold the keys to a kingdom she has kept locked away behind a smile and a "how was your day?" The mask is off. Don't let this knowledge go to waste. Tonight, when you look at her, don't just see the woman you know, see the woman who is waiting to be claimed. See the fire in the back of her eyes and realize that you are the only one who can fan those flames. Take what you've learned and use it, not as a weapon, but as a bridge into the deepest parts of her soul. She's waiting for you to lead the way. If you found this exploration as intoxicating as I did, if you want to continue mastering the art of the feminine psyche, then don't go far. Join me again. Subscribe to this frequency. Let's keep walking into the dark together. I'll be waiting. Shadows.